Hello guys, in this video I will install heated pads in the seats of my Skoda Octavia 2 facelift. These are the pads, I got them from eBay. They were pretty cheap, but they still have a decent quality in them. They are carbon ones, they break harder, they are more rugged, you can say. I was planning on making this a tutorial, but sadly I'm on a clock. I have to finish this really soon, so I will just show you bits and pieces from this install, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments and I will do my best to answer you. So yeah, let's go to the car and see how I took out the first seat. These are the screws of the seat. They are a triple square socket. I don't have this type of key, so luckily one of my hex keys fits perfectly in it, so I could open them with this hex key. I was really lucky. What can I say? But of course you are better using one of these, but I had to do this today and I couldn't wait to order one online, sadly. So yeah, let's go to the seat. There are 4 of them, and this is the wiring for the airbag. You have to disconnect the battery before you disconnect these wires, and do not connect it until you connect them back when you are done. Okay, you can see the passenger seat here. I've took out most of the plastics already. This knob was really hard to take out. It has these plastic things, I can find the name for them now, that latch onto here. So you have to pry it really hard, but it comes out in the end. I was lucky I didn't break it. So that's that. You can see the wires here and the connector for the airbag. And yeah, I'm starting to take everything apart, and let's continue. When taking the upholstery off, you will find that it is connected from place to place to the seat with this type of metal hog rings. So you have to try to undo them or cut them off. I will cut them off because it's a lot easier, and replace them with zip ties. Of course, bigger ones than this. These are pretty tiny, but yeah, these are just as an example. I will cut the hog rings with this. So yeah, let's continue. Okay, scrap that idea. I found this for other type of rings, elastic rings, but it seems it's also working to pry this type of hog rings apart, something like this. So I don't have to cut them anymore, and I can take them apart, and I will do my best to close them again with pliers, so I can still use this, because yeah, they are better than plastic. So hooray for this, although it's not made for this. Thank you, Skoda, again for making my work 10 times harder than it should be. I watched some videos like this online before starting this job, and none of the seats that I've seen done had this many hog rings in them. So you can see how many cuts I have to make in this. So yeah, thank you Skoda again for making stuff more complicated than it's necessary. So work is progressing slowly. Already put back the upper part. The heating pad goes up to here. I'm using zip ties in the end because without pliers made specially for those hog rings, yeah, it's very hard to use them again. So this is way easier. I just put them in place, tighten them, cut them, and yeah, that's about it. You can see the cable, it's between these two parts of the seat, so it's out the back. And yeah, here is a thermistor, I'm thinking, if I remember correctly. So it's a little bit bigger in size, so I ripped part of the sponge underneath it, so it has a place where to sit without bothering you when you sit on this chair. So yeah, on this seat, not chair. Slowly, but yeah, pretty good. And Skoda, why did you put so many so many places for this to attach to? But yeah, what can you do? Only to continue. I've made some more progress. The bottom part is almost finished now. I've decided to make the cuts a little bit smaller. I will also do them like this on the other seat, not to waste too much of the heating element. This is insulating tape and it is temperature resistant, so I've put some at the end of these cuts. On the other part it was not necessary because I made the cuts way bigger, but yeah. Also be careful because on the edges there are some thin wires that go from the end to this top part, and if you cut this too much you will completely cut those off, so a part of it could actually not work. So yeah, be careful for that. And now I will just have to put this upholstery back on. Sorry, very hard to pronounce that. And see how that goes. The seat is finished, all in place, tightened up. And now let's put in the wires. The wires are tightened up. Let me walk you through it. Basically, you give power to these two wires at the end. Power goes to the relay, also to this switch, and when you select one or the second heating setting, the relay clicks and most likely puts these two in series or in parallel. When they are in series they get half the voltage each, so they heat up less. When they are in parallel they get full voltage, they heat up more, and basically that's about it. These wires are pretty thin, so I will check if they heat up too much and maybe change them, but they should be okay. We'll see about that. And all that remains to be done is to put this seat back in the car, put these wires out of sight, and drill a hole for this switch. And we will see how it works. Okay guys, for almost 1 year my seats are finished, but I didn't have time to properly install buttons. So I would plug in this in the cigarette cigarette lighter port, and yeah, only one seat at a time. So I started to turn down a little bit here, and I plan on putting one button here, and bringing some wires from the fuse box. Of course, I want this to be operational only when the contact is on. So yeah, that will be step 2, but now I have to decide exactly where to drill these holes, because as you can see there are things underneath here, so if I drill it in the wrong hole I will create problems for myself in the wrong place. So yeah, but this is the position, and I also planning on installing here a USB port. I wanted to tear down this cheap one and put it there, but actually I saw that it's even worse than what I thought, so yeah, I'm going to buy a better one and put it there. Probably one that is already made to be installed in a hole, not like this one to be installed here. So yeah, but that will be another step. The position for the buttons is marked. Ideally I would have liked them a little bit lower, but there are problems inside, so this is the best I can do. And in the middle I will have my USB charger, but that will be a little bit later. So yeah, let's drill this and see what we mess up. First hole drilled, but yeah, let's see. I really have no clue how this will fit. Okay, using my left hand. Could it be? Okay, this is way better than expected. Okay, second hole drilled, both buttons in position, and this is the type of drill that I used. It's made for wood, but it really works good for plastic. And yeah, next I need to route the cables and stuff like that, but it's looking pretty good, better than I expected, and nothing went wrong for the moment. A bit closer to finish. These are the power cables that will be coming, the connection for them will be coming from the fuse box. These are the connections between the buttons, the switches, and both of the seats. And yeah, they are routed for one of the seats through here, to this side, under the carpet, and they come out here and then go under the seat when where they are kept in place with some plastic, I have no idea how they are called. Remembered, zip ties. Okay, with some plastic zip ties. I made sure that with all the movement of the seat, forward, backward, up, down, this cable is never stretched. And of course this is not the final position of the seat, it will most likely be way forward, so you don't even see anything. And that cut was already there, I did not make that, so yeah. And yeah, now I'm going to start to put everything back together, because I don't have time today to make the final connections. For the other side, exactly the same, under the carpet, in the hole right there. Of course checked, and they don't get tightened. This I will use zip ties to tighten them next to this AC pipe, so they don't wiggle around. And yeah, should be good. All cables are routed and are ready for the heated seats and for the USB power source. and I'm going to take the ground from here, as you can see, directly from the chassis of the car. Two big bolts, then one bolt here, welded here, and this is the point where I'm going to take the ground with this loop, two wires, and this. So let's do it. Ground is finished. I used this electrical tape here just to make sure that the wires above it cannot get cut by the thread of the screw. It was not really needed, but I wanted just to make sure. This to relieve some tension from the solder from the wires, and yeah, then they go down and pop up right here. And go right to the heated seat from the right side and to this USB socket. On the other side, the second cable, direct connection, heated seat from there, and the other socket right there. And now I just have to bring 12 volt to these points, this and this, with this cable and through these 10 amp fuses. And for the USB sockets in series there are two 3 amp fuses, because I don't think if something happens to that they can blow these 10 amp fuses, so I wanted smaller ones in series, and I don't want to bring 4 wires all the way from the main fuse box. So yeah, let's do this. Getting ready to tap into the main fuse box. I used this kind of wire termination, and I soldered it to the wire, insulated with heat shrink tube, and soldered into the middle hole, because a normal fuse doesn't have that hole, and I didn't want to upset something there, something not making good contact because of that hole. Didn't want to take any chances. So this will be one of the fuses. Let me just show you. Okay, hard to open with one hand. Really hard to open with one hand. Next to impossible. But I'm not giving up. Just bump that thing down. Standard fuse. I could have put this fuse in my main fuse box, but that would mean to open up a lot in that area and take out my fuse box, because the second contact is missing from all the unused spaces, so way more complicated than just tapping into it like this. You'll see in a moment how I will do it. To route wires through where you want them, use a thicker monofilament wire. This stays like you bend it. Multi-filament wires do not. And use electrical tape to fix your wires to that one, and when you pull this one you will pull yours where you want them. So yeah, let's do this. Where your wires have a chance to rub against the metal frame, use electrical tape to mask the edges, to cover them, so you do not create a fire hazard or continuously blow up your fuses. So yeah, better it doesn't look that great, although this is absolutely covered, but when you look at the fuses you can see that, but it's 100% safe. I go for safe every single time. Okay guys, so I'm searching for fuses that have power only when the contact is on. Here everything is finished, but I didn't put on the panels because I want to test everything before closing it up. So I found two variants here on left and right of this 15 amp fuse. This one's here. That seems to be only when the contact is on they have power, so that is good, and three of them here, but I don't really like that positioning. Here seems to be better for me. So yeah, let's do this. And of course, let me just show you something one moment. I'm using this listing on eBay to see where the wires are thicker. So here the wires seem to be really thick. Of course, this fuse box is for the right hand drive version of this car, so it's 100% mirrored from what we have here, although my camera cannot do this thing. You see ours now, and then you see this one. They are mirrored. But yeah, the ideal position is here because there are really thick wires behind, bringing power there. So yeah, let's do this. Okay, this is done. I'm really happy how my fuses stay here. This is, as you can see, really strong connection. So let's give them a quick test. Okay guys, car is on. I seem to have power to the heated seats, which is perfect. Nothing seems to be blowing up. I have power to my USB ports also. That is a separate video, of course. So yeah, a little bit more testing, and then I start putting everything back together. And of course I will put these wires nicely where they do not interfere with anything. And yeah, in the end I do have heating in my seats with 2 levels, which is pretty awesome. I'm just going to stay a little bit here to warm myself up. All wires are in place. Make sure they do not touch anything that could cut them. You do not overstretch them or something. Just they have to be held in place really well so they don't rattle around. So now let's put the trim back together. And my project is finally finished. Heated seats with 2 heat levels with 2 colors. You cannot really leave this thing on because when you take away the contact, they are off. When you put the contact, they are on. So if you leave the car, they are off always. So yeah, this has been it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Like, subscribe, check out my other videos, and see you again in the next one. Bye.